Did the Niners pay Nick Bosa too much? $34 million a year. What's crazy to me is like they were talking that could he get over Aaron Donald 31 point something, man? Like he breezed by it. The Niners dragged this out. So like this is the best they could do? 34? I mean, wow.
So the reason that I wanted to pose this question, obviously we don't know the details, but we're going off of what the annual average looks to be, which is 34 million. We'll see how it actually breaks out. But yes, I mean, this is way over what Donald is getting. And I think, to me, he was probably looking for 35, and they met at 34 is the way that I kind of see this. Maybe that was the holdup, was he was looking for 35. They were at 32. They met at 34. Somebody has to reset the market, Grant. Somebody has to reset the market. I imagine that the Burns deal, the Jones deal come in the next 48 hours after this. This was the domino to fall. Wait till Parsons gets paid. That's all I'm going to say. Next offseason, when Parsons gets paid, it's going to be bigger than this deal. That'll be the one that resets what Bosa's done. So for now, I know that it seems like a lot of money. I'll be curious to see how they restructure or how they structure this thing, but I don't think so. I think they were in a situation where if you're in a win now mode, you couldn't trade him now. You didn't have that option. He was either going to sit out his 8 to 12 games or whatever he can sit out and accrue a season, and you were going to trade him next offseason, and you were going to deal with that, or you were going to pay him, and that's what they chose to do. And I think in this scenario, this was the right decision.
Again, let me just come back though. For you to take this down to September 6th and give him $34 million, like you're telling me he was asking for a lot more than that, and you got him to come to his senses? To me, I don't think I can't imagine that Nick Bosa was asking for much more than $34 million. Like he's way beyond what Aaron Donald was making, more than $2 million per year beyond what Aaron Donald was making. So I almost feel like something happened in these negotiations, and maybe Nick Bosa got upset or took something personally and refused to negotiate, and the Niners just waited and waited and waited and waited and finally caved and gave him what he wanted. You're telling me they actually got a concession from Nick Bosa at 34 million? 34 million was a concession for Nick Bosa? He's that greedy? I can't imagine. I feel like the Niners just waited for a long time and then gave him what he wanted. 34 million, that's a lot.
Which is possible. I mean,
we did it, guys. Only 34. This guy wanted 37, but we knocked him down. We grinded him out, made him sweat. And he said, with his tail between his legs, he had it. Okay, I'll sign for 34. Like,
all right.
I don't know, man. It seems like you gave him every single thing he wanted and waited a long time. If you had offered him $34 million a year in July, he would have said no. I can't imagine.
Right.
I don't
know. Right.
I don't know.
And who knows? Again, the guarantees. Now, we don't know what's fully guaranteed. There's a difference. You have TJ Watt, who had the most non-quarterback fully guaranteed, which was, I believe, 80 million. And then you had his brother Joey, who had the most guaranteed money at 102 million, and he just went to 122.5. We don't know what the fully guaranteed is, but I gotta imagine it's in the neighborhood of 90 plus. So I mean, he's clearing all of the deals in this, absolutely resetting the market 100%. It's a lot of money. It's tough. I'll say this. If you would have proposed this to me in the offseason prior to the draft, I might have said, you know what? If you can go get 2 first rounders for Bosa, maybe you go do that. But in this situation that they're in now, I really don't think they had a choice. They waited way too long. What else are you going to do?
Yeah. Well,
slam your window shut. That was the other option. Slam the window shut and not win a Super Bowl this year. That was the other option. That's not an option.
I just think it's look, they got Bosa. It's great. I just think it's looked at as such a triumph for the 49ers. Like they got it. Like, yo, you waited way too long just to give him everything he ever wanted. Something about your process had to have been off. You're telling me you couldn't have had him in there for training camp with $34 million a year? Like that was insulting to Bosa? Or Bosa, $34 million was insulting to you and you had to accept that at the very last day? Like, what is with you people? This is so unrelatable. Can you guys come back down to earth for a second? Please. I don't understand. I just don't get it.
You know, the
This
thing
was the
is,
resolution.
I don't get the
Crazy.
vibe from the 49ers that they're proud of this. I get the vibe that they're relieved by this, which tells you maybe
'Cause
that
wasn't it
means
just a
Bosa
couple of
was
days
asking
ago?
for a lot.
Wasn't it just a couple of days ago when the people were like, "Well, they're going to make him the highest paid edge rusher of all time, but maybe not as much as Aaron Donald."
Yeah.
Way more than Aaron Donald. It
Yeah.
sounds like the Niners were like, "What if we do this? What if we do this? Well, how about this?" And Bosa was like, "No, no, oh, no." And eventually, the Niners were like, "All right, here you go. We look stupid. We know that this isn't going to go well for us." That's my interpretation. I'd love someone plugged in national media to say how the Niners won. Anything. What did they accomplish by waiting so long? What was good about this? Because if Bosa can't play the full game and they lose, if he's not in full shape and gets hurt, you're going to come back to this and be like, this was so unnecessary. This was so unnecessary. You could have handled this. This is a ton of money. There's no way he said, someone tell me he said no to $34 million until today. Let me find out. Let me find out.
I think he might have, Grant. Let me paint this picture for you. The reports the last couple of days were saying that they were around $3 million annually apart. That tells me that the 49ers said, okay, you want to be the highest paid non-quarterback? $32 million makes that happen. And he goes, 35. And they're like, no, 32 makes you the highest. And he's like, that's great, 35. Like, that's the feeling I get. If the reports are true that they're about $3 million apart, that's what I feel like was probably going on.
Okay, so Bosa wanted 35, and the Niners waited a month and a half to get him down to 34. I take it all back. You did it. Parag and John and Jed, negotiators of the fucking year. Let's give it to him. Let's give him a round of applause. Who do you want to thank first? Parag, let's get you up here. Who do you want to thank first? Getting Nick Bosa for $1 million less per year. I mean, that is something else. I'm sorry.
Golf clap it up.
I feel like, okay, so you saved $1 million a year, but at what cost? Hopefully none. We'll find out. Mark says Grant Bosa will play the whole game as needed, like TJ Watt did in his contract year when he came in on Friday. Okay, let's check that out real quick. TJ Watt stats. Let me get to his game log. I know this isn't great television, but I'm curious. Game log, was it 2021? Yes. He played week 1, and he had 2 sacks, and he played 69 snaps. Damn. Now, the next week he played 16. Don't know why. And the next week he didn't play at all. Don't know why. But 69. Nice.
Nice. That's a lot of stats. I don't want to see that from Bosa. Bosa doesn't normally play that many anyways. So
no. Dave, what's up, guys? Patriot Builders watching you. Thank you, Dave and the Patriot Builders.